Okay, let's get started. Welcome. I am Neil Thompson, and it is my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Sen and all of you around the world to tonight's teleseminar. And it's time once again to raise our belief level. And our subject today for discussion is, what is the single biggest obstacle that prevents people from achieving success? And, I remember my first meeting with Mr. Sen, and it was in 1988. And I was a budding chartered accountant, which is the equivalent, it's like a CPA in the United States. And I was working for the largest consulting firm in the world. And there I was in his seminar, eager to listen to him. I was waiting to change my life with all the so-called degrees and qualifications and, all the job descriptions that people admire and look up to. But, I did not feel successful. And that is why I was in his class. And there was about another 150 people, mostly like me. And why was I there? Because I wanted to be successful. And somehow I knew he could give me the answer. And I got the answer in the first 5 minutes of this 2-day seminar in Vancouver, and it was in Canada, Vancouver, Canada. He said, "Why do you want to get into business? Why do you want to start your own business? To be rich? To be famous? To travel?" He said that may be true, but the truth is, we get into business to be free, to have liberty. And liberty means we can be whatever we want to be, have whatever we want to have, and do whatever we want to do. And, for me, that was my definition of success, and he gave it to me. And all I had to do, he said, was to develop that ability. And he showed us that it may come not only from business, but with anything we do, like any career or any relationships. And I heard him, he gave the same speech in Shenzhen in the People's Republic of China to a group in a factory. And they couldn't wait for him to come back to give a seminar to them on success. I, being a North American, saw the same reaction with the Chinese in Asia. So success, he said to me, has no geographical boundaries. So today we're going to discuss the most powerful subject, the biggest obstacle against success. This will not end today, and it's just the beginning. So welcome, Mr. Sen.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you. That was you remember the Chinese factory, eh?
Oh, yes. It was exciting being over there.
And I gave them, of course, I didn't give them a 2-day seminar. I gave them a few hours talk. The whole idea is that success is something that is used all the time, Neil, but it is not understood. What is success? And today's subject will lead us more or less to the idea of what success is. See, we talk about secrets of success. We talk about the even ancient secrets of success, my book. And I defined what success is there. And the whole idea is, before we go to our major subject today, the subject is, what is the single biggest obstacle that prevents people from achieving success? Then the questions that came, why do I sometimes settle for things I really do not want and compromise my desires? Also, another thing is what is it that is stopping me from reaching out for more than my mind can hold? What could I do about it? This is an eternal problem. How is it that there are people who have so much success and I do not seem to get off the starting gate? These questions are very, very the answers for it will require a little bit of mental work. And that is where we stop at the starting gate. For a change, let's go. The holiday season is just around the corner. And the new year is about to begin. And I'm going to tell you something. This new year and this season, you should end up with a feeling. Today I'm going to talk to you about feeling and thinking and the secret to finding out what is the biggest obstacle to your success that is coming, as I'm giving it to you. We settle for things we've got and compromise. Success is more than money, more than riches, more than all the material things in the world. But they are only the reflections of what is inside you. You need it. There are millionaires who are successful and there are millionaires who are unsuccessful. Success is very important for us to understand. But before we go into that, last time I left you with a homework. And the homework was of setting a vision. One single thing that you wanted out of life. To write it down. I'll come and answer that question. But I haven't forgotten it. And this will make all the difference in your life. One single thing that you want most in your life. That was the homework. And you have to write it down. So when you wrote it down, maybe some of you wrote pages and pages of it, or some of you wrote a whole page about it. Or some of you wrote a couple of paragraphs. And one of the questions I was asked, why is it one? I've got so many desires. Yes, I mentioned that to you at that time as well. That you may have many desires, but settle on one single desire that you want right now and the most. Why was it one? Why was it only one desire? I'm going to answer the question. And it'll wake you up to the fact. First of all, you have to train your mind to obey you. Second, you have to understand how can that mind be trained with that. If you want one thing, you have to believe in yourself and the universe. If you want one thing that you want most of all in your heart, doesn't matter what it is, $1 billion, $1 million, a romance, a relationship, travel around the world, it doesn't matter what it is, that one thing which you cannot take your mind off. You could take your mind off because mind tells you can't have it, it's too much. But what is in your deep down in your heart? If you want one thing, what will happen is this, the universe will synchronize the rest of your needs and desires to fit that one single thing. I'm going to tell you this again, and you have to understand. It is so important. You can't have 10,000 desires or 5 or 6 desires at the same time. You know why you have it? Because you don't believe that the universe has the intelligence to put it together. You believe that you have to direct that's what the mind does to you. The mind tells you, come on, the universe won't understand. Give it to them. You have to direct them like you direct all your people that work with you. But over here, you don't have to do that. If you want one thing, the universe will synchronize the rest of your needs and desires to fit that one single thing. That's what Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists of our times and scientists have referred to as a law of synchronicity. Now let me go a little further. Synchronicity is like a kaleidoscope. When we were kids, I don't know if you have experienced what I have experienced. I used to get the little tube, and inside there was a kaleidoscope. And when we just moved the tube a little bit, the whole design changed with the move. In it were designs. The slight move, we came up on a brand new design. And each design has a new center. And this center is the one thing that you want. And all the other parts get together and form a beautiful design of your life. You know, you cannot concentrate on all the parts of the design. The universe is the kaleidoscope. You have to settle on what you want most. And the universe is far, far, far more intelligent than you and I are, will put it together. So if you desire to have a holiday around the world and romance all the way, you'll have the money. You'll have the time. And the world to go around. There's still the world to go around. So when you desire a holiday to romance around the world, a cruise around the world, you see yourself in that lifestyle. You see yourself sipping the pina colada on the deck. You don't have to worry where I'm going to get the money from, because the universe is intelligence, and it's pure intelligence. You don't believe it? Look around you. The stars, the sun, the galaxies, and everything is so synchronized. You didn't make it. I didn't make it. Our mind didn't design it. Our bodies included. So if you have a desire to have a holiday around the world and romance, you will have the money. You will have the time. And the world to go around. That is the one single desire. Now coming to our point here, what is the single biggest obstacle to success? Before I go into that, please, if you have not written your desire out, and if you truly love yourself, you will take on the responsibility of self-direction. This is self-direction. Please, take the time. The most precious time is this. Take the time. Spend half an hour. You cannot do it in 5 minutes. You'll go through anguish. You'll go through agony to find the center of your desires. We have hundreds and thousands of desires in us. Only one single desire that you want to fulfill. Right now. Write it down. If you haven't done it, do it. Please do it, because it's going to help you. Otherwise, you're listening to this all in vain. And you will see the mind will obstruct you. The mind will let you want you to postpone. The mind does not come in big ways to distract you. It gives you sleep, it gives you laziness, it gives you a postponement. Tonight, after the seminar, take the control of your mind and tell him, tell her, I am going to put my one single desire and write, this is what I want. Want is a lack. And what I lack most. And I want to fulfill that. And then we'll continue with this goal, and you will see how your life will completely flourish and flower. if you stay on course. You did not come to this seminar by accident. Nothing happens by accident. We are not meeting in cyberspace in accident. We are meeting from all over the world. Now, right now. If that is not intelligence, then what is intelligence? We have come here for a purpose. Nothing happens without a purpose. Not a single leaf falls from the tree without a purpose. So write that desire down if you haven't done it, and then I will have a 1 full hour seminar on that, and then we'll take on the series of actually goal setting. Goal setting is the heart of success. Anybody can set a goal, and every day you set goals. But is the goal from your heart or from your head? That's the question. That makes the difference between success and not so success. Now let's go back to our point today, and which is in relation to this. What is the single biggest obstacle? The holiday seasons are coming. This is a great time to meditate, to contemplate, to review life, and to establish new visions and new goals. Let me go. The greatest books and teachers throughout history of time have taught their students that our mind makes us and our mind breaks us. Our mind makes us happy, and it is our mind that makes us sad. Like James Allen says, the mind is the master maker that molds and makes. And man is mind, and evermore he takes the tool of thought in shaping what he wills, brings forth 1,000 joys or 1,000 ills. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking glass. I'll say that again for you. The mind is the master maker that molds and makes. Man is mind, and evermore he takes the tool of thought in shaping what he wills, brings forth 1,000 joys or 1,000 ills. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking glass. Our environment is exactly that. Our looking glass reflecting back to us our own thoughts. Whether it was thought openly or secretly, harbored in the mind. The mirror, the looking glass, makes no judgments and no decision on its own. It will reflect back to us in the form of our circumstances, which is our environment, the thoughts which is our images that we have carried in our mind. Our environment is actually a mirror reflecting back to us our thoughts. The mirror cannot make you more beautiful than you are. So don't blame the mirror. Just change your thought. Now, here's the rub. How do you change your thought? That's what we're going to do. That's one of the biggest obstacles. We cannot go and change the image that is reflected in the mirror. That is ridiculous. That is impossible. And isn't that what most of us are trying to do all the time? We go out, I'm going to change the circumstances. We're going to have a better relationship. Go inside and instead realize the truth. That the images on the mirror is not you. It is you that reflect what is in the mirror. You cannot change the image in the mirror. That's impossible. You can only change yourself. You can only change yourself, and the mirror will reflect back what you've changed to. Change yourself, the reflection will also change, as surely as the sun will rise tomorrow morning. Okay, for some of you in Asia, it's already morning, but that's the fact. Your morning tomorrow. Change yourself. The reflection will also change as surely as the sun will rise tomorrow morning. That's the law. In my book, Ancient Secrets of Success for Today's World, I show you how to change your feelings and your thoughts to match or to be in harmony with your aspirations and your desires. That's the purpose of the book. The single biggest obstacle in life for success, guess what? Our untrained mind. Our untrained mind is the biggest obstacle. Like Dr. Frankenstein. We create a monster of our mind, who then wants to destroy us. All of you know the story of Frankenstein. People mistake Frankenstein as the monster he created. No, Dr. Frankenstein created from a dead body a monster, and he thought he was achieving. We also created the mind, and it wants to destroy us. We have to obey the mind. The mind, or we have to train the mind and become the master of the world. Our world is a reflection of the images that we have held in our mind as a consequence, as a result of our feelings. Now here comes the actual reason. Let me repeat this to you in a way. Our world that we see here is a reflection that we have held in our mind as images. We may not agree with it because we did secretly and we're not aware of it. Our world is a reflection of the images held in our mind as a consequence or as a result of our feelings. The word is feelings. Our feelings we ignore most of the time. Our feelings generate or project images, which in turn projected through our mind to our looking glass, which is our environment. Most of us think that we think and then we feel. Let me go back. Our feelings generate or project images in us, which in turn is projected through our mind to our looking glass, which is our environment. The whole external universe is like a mirror, a screen in a movie theater where you see movies played out, where we see blood and guts spilling, where we see romance and riches. But after the movie's over, the screen stays unblemished. It is ready to reflect the next movie. The screen has no feelings. When you realize that, that is called transcendent consciousness. Let me tell you a little story. There were three friends, and they were going to in India, in the Bengal. This is all folklore stories. This is not my story. This is all, and they were going to the forest, and they saw a huge tiger in front of them, a royal Bengal tiger. This is in Bengal, from where I come from. The first friend says, and they were devotees. The first one says, our fate is sealed. The second one says, let's pray for providence, and he'll protect us. The third one says, why bother providence? Let us climb the tree that providence has given us already. They climbed up the tree. See, the biggest obstacle, I believe, is isolating ourselves as little wells in the magnificent universe. Let's go back to the story. The first one is a person who reads books and books and books and says everything, listens to seminars, and when danger lurks in front of him or her, she forgets. And said, this doesn't work, it's finished. The second one has faith and prays. That's good. The third friend is a lover. A lover always has to be stronger than the person he loves, to protect, to love. So he said, why bother providence? Let's climb the tree which has already been provided. When we love someone, we have to be stronger than the person we love. That makes us lovers. Doesn't matter who it is. Love brings courage. Love is made of courage. The word courage comes from a French word coeur, means heart. When you have the heart, then you can love. Nobody can love from the mind. The biggest obstacles, I believe, that we have is isolating ourselves as little wells in this magnificent universe. This attitude makes us helpless entities dependent on everything external. We talk a big line sometimes. Oh, I have this, I'm going to affirm this. But we know what? We don't depend on the universe, or we don't depend on ourselves. We don't depend on anything else but what we've got. But we forget one thing. We came with nothing, and we got so much. How did we get it? The next thing, the mind has made the power, and the feelings is looked upon as a production of the mind. We have made the mind as the power, and our feelings today is looked upon as a product of our mind. That's upside down. For example, instead the mind is like the computer. We have to get this straight. Instead, the mind is like the computer and a processor of our feelings. So we have to so what we have done, we have put the cart before the horse. And we want our mind to push the cart and not pull it to the destination, which is our goal, which requires, and this, when the horse has to push the cart, it requires enormous labor, both for the horse and for us. We say, I think, and then I feel. That's not right. It is the other way around. We feel, and then the feeling creates thoughts, and those thoughts are images. We really have it all upside down, most of us. To demonstrate, so we seem to have it all upside down. For example, to demonstrate to you how feelings come first and thoughts come later, let me tell you an old story, which I think every grandmother in India has told their grandchildren. My grandmother told me this story, just to teach them that feelings are the most important thing for setting goals and visions. Now, mind you, this is going to be a little frustrating story. There was this poor man who used to work for an egg merchant. He used to carry baskets of eggs from the merchant's shop to the stores and the bazaar through crowded streets. Don't forget, there were no motor cars or vans or pickups those days. These carriers of eggs were called coolies. They can perfectly balance a whole basket of eggs on their head and walk for miles without having to hold the basket with their hands. This egg merchant gave this coolie almost next to nothing for salary for his hard work. And not only that, he abused him verbally, and you want to know, sometimes even physically. He was absolutely devastated, but he couldn't help it. The poor coolie bore the pain, the insults, and felt very hurt and angry. But he couldn't do anything. He had a family and children that depended on his income of about 10 rupees a week. They were almost in a point of destitute. This feeling led him to desire to leave his job by building a business of his own. Of course, the only business he knew was eggs. So in his mind, these feelings led to his thinking of taking out 2 rupees out of his next pay of 10 rupees and buy 4 eggs and then hatch them in a nearby incubator and pay him 1 rupee to hatch those eggs. These hens that he thought will lay eggs, and these eggs he'll hatch them again. And those eggs will be hatched to produce more hens until he has a large poultry. Then these hens will be laying eggs, and he'll become the boss. That is not all. He'll take away the customers from his present boss because he knows all of the customers intimately. They'll come to him. That feeling led him to that imagination, that thinking. His boss will, and he realized his boss will go bankrupt and lose his shirt and will end up coming to work for him like he is working for his present boss. He was thinking all this while he was carrying a whole basket of eggs to be delivered to one of the major customers of his boss. He was living in the vision and thought of the feeling of the hurt. And he thought success, and he felt the ecstasy of freedom from a torturous, humiliating life to a job of an abundance. And the ultimate feeling of revenge came to him. He saw his poor boss totally stripped of all his wealth and dignity, standing before him, asking for a job of a coolie. And in his mind, and in anger, he kicked him hard and shouted and said, "This is what you get for treating me so badly." And he really kicked. was a physical kick. In that action, he really used his leg and threw up in the air, lost his balance, and lost his basket of eggs from his head. His vision smashed all the eggs. He did end up working for the merchant for a long time just to repay for the broken eggs. I told you this story as my grandmother told me. He said, my grandmother told me, feelings come first, and those feelings bring in thought, and thoughts are images, and they make our vision. Desire is a feeling which translates into pictures, a vision. Just like fear is a feeling which translates into pictures. And notice, they are not time-bound or space-bound. Feelings are not time and space-bound. They are not even past, present, and future is annihilated from them. All visioning starts with feeling, not with thinking. Feeling brings in thinking. Instead, the feeling produces those thoughts. Feeling creates thoughts. Thoughts are images. Images create vision. Vision becomes manifest. What is the feeling? The motive power. It is just like the motif of an artist before he touches his brush on the canvas. The impulse behind the desire. Out of the feelings, you make the vision. Feelings does not come in the realm of time. Feelings has no time. I can have the same feeling when I was 6.5 or 7 years old in school and see it now. And I can have feelings when I am going to end my life, how I'm going to end it. I want to see it. I want to feel it. Like when I want a condo, a luxury condo on the waterfront. I desire it. I feel it. I'm there. I want to enjoy the feeling. The world travel with my romance. I can feel the touch of her hands in my hands. I can have a look into her eyes and see through her dilated pupils because she's in love with me. Romance. Your multi-million-dollar bank account, multi-million-dollar bank account is a lifestyle. The feelings of the lifestyles, the feelings of that thing. It's not the money. It's not the travel. It's the feelings. And then the feelings create pictures. Feelings are not time-bound. That's why vision is the visual created out of feelings. Whether it be of health, whether it be a perfect body, or it will be a perfect love, perfect wealth. Vision is a visual created out of feelings. The visual does not create the feelings. It's the feelings that creates the visual. That's why great masters in the world, throughout the world, have taught their students, whatever you desire, or I may say feel, make it into a visible vision inside you, and it'll come spontaneously. And then you will not see the vision in the future or even now. For you, the feeling and the vision are one. This is how you make your feelings manifest at your command. That's what the great master said. Read Ancient Secrets of Success. There's a quotation in that book. Don't say the harvest is 4 months from now. Lift up your eyes and see the field white, ready to harvest. Feeling, we distort feeling by saying I have to think to feel. That's putting the cart before the horse. Imagine the horse pushing the cart. That is how you become the master of your mind, by mastering your feelings and telling your mind that you will think what I feel. This is how you become the master of your mind and the master of your world. That is how you remove the biggest obstacle to success from your life. See the house. See the car. No. See the feelings before the house, before the car. Travel as you vision. You're already in it. You're seeing in it. When you believe, you don't think how it will come to you. Because you cannot believe unless it's your reality. Otherwise, you're living in a make-believe world. Believe comes from the word be and live. Live is Old English for live. Be, live. The great book began by be. We are the great verb, we be. A verb to be. Verb is an action. If you don't believe it, you don't have the desire. If you want to fake it, you don't have the desire. Desire is an intense feeling of lack, which is causing you pain and driving you to feel and create images of how are you going to make it your reality. Make it into absolute visible things. But your problem will be your mind will always want to know how you will manifest what you vision. Because the mind is living in a small well. Think of it in the ocean. So you have to train your mind to know that the mind is the ocean. Remember the story of the frog of the well and the frog of the ocean. We live in a little well. The mind always wants to know what are the resources available. The mind does not know that every creation carries its own mathematics with it. That's back to the kaleidoscope. When you move the kaleidoscope to the center, everything gets a new design. The universe is rushing towards you like a freight train to give you what you want if you feel. That all the power of the universe that ever was and will be is in us at this very instant. If you don't believe it, you tell your mind. If you tell your mind, if his mind questions it, look at this body of ours. It'll boggle our mind. Our mind cannot, in its wildest dream, figure out how we have grown from an embryo to what we are now. How does the mind explain that? And we trust our mind and not our feelings. Does it sound logical? Ask me. Ask yourself. When our body will lose its feelings, the mind will be dead. The mind cannot think anymore. Feelings of love create strength. We love family, children, and are willing to do almost anything to love them. They are feelings. Feelings of romance and riches has made masters. My feelings of romance and riches has made me master of languages and speech. I traveled around the world, writing, speaking, and teaching, and dreamt dreamt all of that when I was a little boy in Calcutta. The feelings that I saw it in movies, and I couldn't stand it that I'm going to be stuck. I did not know how it will come. I felt, and those feelings brought in daydreaming, and those daydreaming, I drooled on this daydreaming when I was going from door to door looking for a job to pay for my college fees. I went to college, worked in the evenings, did my assignments, and dreamt all throughout how I'm going to be a writer, a speaker, and an entrepreneur. Today, not only have I accomplished that, I've taught thousands across the world how to do exactly what I do. And that was my greatest joy. And that's my greatest feeling. My mind obeys me. I can teach them. I can teach, but I cannot feel for you. You have to learn feelings. Practice feelings. All your goals and desires must come from feelings. Feelings come from lack. We were not given pain in vain. We are given pain to feel the lack and to fill it. That is our divinity being expressed. Feelings require courage. And great feelings require great courage. You believe, like I'm going to re-quote and quote again and again Franz Kafka. This is one of my favorite quotes. You know, if you feel, he quotes, quote and unquote, you do not need to leave your room. Remain sitting at your table and listen. Do not even listen. Simply wait. Do not even wait. Be quiet, still, and solitary. The world will freely offer itself to you to be unmasked. It has no choice. It will roll in ecstasy at your feet. And to close today's talk, I must tell you, I'm going to repeat this again, this quotation from Franz Kafka. You do not need to leave your room. Remain sitting at your table and listen. Do not even listen. Simply wait. Do not even wait. Be quiet, still, and solitary. The world will freely offer itself to you to be unmasked. It has no choice. It will roll in ecstasy at your feet. And when I was a little kid, I was taught, you are what your deep, driving desire is. And further I was taught from another section of the same book, that when your desire is intense, you will feel then you are in a lover's arms. You cannot differentiate between the outside and inside. There is no outside. There is no inside. When you feel the love of what you want, the universe will bow to you. And as Franz Kafka puts it, the world will freely offer itself to you to be unmasked. It has no choice. It will roll in ecstasy at your feet. And to give you the solace, James Allen puts it, be not impatient in delay, but wait as one who understands. For when the Spirit rises and commands, the gods are ready to obey. Thank you. And I will talk to you in the later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sen, for this life-transforming talk. And I especially love that story about the coolie and the basket of eggs. I could just see him giving that big kick. Fantastic.
I'll tell you what, when my grandmother was telling me that story, I also almost kicked it myself.
I can imagine.
And the best lesson is he lost his balance.
Yes.
My grandmother said, revenge is not a good idea. Huh?
Beautiful. What a beautiful talk tonight.
Yes.
I would like to remind everyone once again that it's very important that that you have a copy of Ancient Secrets of Success for today's world. So if you don't have a copy, you can order it online by going to www.raiseyourbelieflevel.com. That's raiseyourbelieflevel.com. And read it over and over again. It'll not only give you the know-how and knowledge of success, it tells you how to practice success. And that is the difference between this book, Mr. Sen, and most other books out there. It gives you the practice of success. And the next teleseminar is going to be on Thursday, December 17th. So that's 2 weeks from tonight. And you should re-listen to tonight's teleseminar. We'll be sending out an email the next day or so about where you can go to listen to it. So listen to that recording. And please forward this email to your friends and your relatives and anybody else in the world you would like to share it with. And also get them to join in on December 17th on the teleseminar, and that's 2 weeks from now. And they can listen online from anywhere in the world with no long-distance charges. So
one
tonight,
thing that
yes.
I'd like to interrupt you here, Neil.
Yes, go ahead.
I'll remind everybody, if you have not set your vision, go one thing that you want. Please do it, because the next teleseminar, I'll be working on that. This was just a preparation for it, for the feelings, so you can set your vision accordingly.
Fantastic. That was a very insightful for me tonight. Feelings to thoughts. Fantastic. Thank you. So good night. Adieu. Avida Zain, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks. And thank you again, Mr. Sen.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.